Support for Just Seen It comes from Fandor, dedicated to supporting independent films and filmmakers. Movies from around the world are available at fandor.com/PTV. Fandor, all for film.
Hi, I'm Sean here with Leah and Kevin. In honor of the MTV Movie Awards, we're going to do some awards of our own here at Just Seen It, based on MTV Movie Award categories: Best Villain, Best Fight Scene, and Best Kiss. And we're all going to do them from the decade that MTV was invented, which was the 1980s. So we've compiled a list from the three of us, as well as other reviewers here at Just Seen It, and we're going to count it down and tell you who the winner is. So Leah, we're going to start with Best Villain.
In no particular order of significance, we have William Hurt in Broadcast News. Dean of Students Edward R. Rooney from...
Ferris Bueller's Days Off.
Very good, okay. We have Kevin Peter Hall from
Predator.
Very good.
All right.
Oh,
We have Alex Forrest from...
Fatal Attraction.
Very good. We have Freddy Krueger from...
Nightmare on
Several
Elm
movies.
Biff Tannen.
Back to the
Back to the
Future.
Future.
Very good. Hans Gruber is from...
Die Hard.
Very good.
Street. Die Hard.
Darth Vader
Yay.
Couple of movies.
and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Ghostbusters
Yes.
2?
One.
1. Right, sorry.
Very good. Okay. Some pretty good baddies on this list.
Yes. So we're going to talk about the ones that we picked
Okay.
specifically.
The
And
ones
we
that
don't
we put on
know
this list.
what we all picked.
Exactly.
So who wants to go first?
I think that you should go first.
I think Kevin picked Alex Forrest.
What do you think?
I think you picked Darth Vader.
Alex Forrest.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Because
okay.
I feel like Darth Vader was more like the 70s best villain.
All right, that
you
makes
know?
sense.
So, yeah, Alex
yeah.
Forrest, Fatal Attraction. She created a stir, a worldwide stir.
That chick was cray-cray.
Yeah, people were afraid, like men were afraid to have affairs after this film. But she's so committed to it. My favorite part is when she takes the kid out of school and like they're riding a roller coaster. I'm thinking, could you imagine somebody taking your kid out of school and going to an amusement park? And then, the whole time you're like, are they going to die? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then, of course, she boils a bunny.
I
mean, what's
know.
worse than that?
You all want to try and guess which villain I picked?
Hans Gruber.
I'm thinking you picked Predator.
You know, the Predator is just he's really kind of badass. And if we're not talking about Predator, then we're talking about Alien, right? I mean, as the most vicious, really kind of out there, hard to conceive villain.
About that.
you
That's
know,
a good one too. Like the Queen.
Kind of a 70s villain. Well, the Queen would
The
be an
Queen,
80s
and
villain.
yeah, it's just like, how do you stop these kinds of creatures?
Right.
He was so committed to being this hunter that for him, if he couldn't get you, he was going to try and blow everything up around you. You know, he was just like, I'm just going to destroy everything. And I just think he was swinging through the trees, and he could be invisible. He had a cloaking device. I mean, it was so imaginative, this particular kind of villain. You couldn't reason with them. You couldn't rationalize with him. You know, I think he was just badass.
He had a little bit of rationale. If you had a gun, he'd
Yes.
kill you. If you didn't have a gun, he didn't kill you because you weren't armed. That's what you find out from Predator. If you don't have a gun, you're fine. Because the woman picks up the
That's
gun
right,
and
that's
Arnold
right.
knocks it out of her hand and
Right.
says, don't do that.
And the other thing is that if it bleeds, then we can kill it, right?
Yeah.
You one ugly mother.
So are they going to guess? Are you going to guess?
I'm going to guess.
Kevin,
You
who
gonna
do you
guess?
think?
I'm going to guess Hans Gruber from
Okay.
Die Hard.
You know, I think Hans Gruber also, but I'm thinking you might have even picked.
Biff.
Yeah. Yeah.
He seems
I'm
like a
thinking,
Biff.
I'm thinking you might have picked Biff.
Well, John McTiernan directed Predator. He also directed Die Hard. But I actually didn't pick either one of those.
Oh,
What?
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
of course.
And I'll tell you why.
Why?
I think that
He's so threatening.
he's so threatening. I think well, Ghostbusters is a classic comedy. Now it's celebrating its 30th anniversary. It came out in 1984. And there's something about the fact that we're going to choose the form of our destructor. And it turns out to be this giant marshmallow man in the homage to monster movies with this gleeful smile and big, giant, bright eyes. And you just think, that's what's coming to destroy us.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
Okay, so now it's time to see what our viewers thought and who they picked as the baddest from the 80s. Drum roll, please. Dun, bam! Darth Vader,
Oh, Darth Vader.
who narrowly defeats Hans Gruber from Die Hard.
Of course.
Really?
Very good choices.
They're all wrong.
They're all wrong.
So there.
Because it's Alex Forrest from Fatal Attraction.
So there. Sean, why don't we move on to you for the best fight scene?
Okay, we're going to look at the 80s best fights, and the nominees are Ripley versus the Alien Queen in Aliens, Rocky versus Ivan Drago in Rocky IV, Luke versus Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, Rowdy Roddy Piper versus Keith David in They Live, Wesley versus Inigo Montoya in The Princess Bride, Jean-Claude Van Damme versus Tony Poe in Kickboxer, Indiana Jones versus the Sword Guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Connor McLeod versus the Kurgan in Highlander, and finally the kitchen fight in Gremlins. What do you think Leah picked?
I think Leah picked Aliens.
I think Leah is here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, but she's all out of bubblegum. Because she picked They Live.
That's right.
right.
That's right. That is the most awesomest, bestest fight scene ever. Come on, Rowdy Roddy Piper and Keith David slugging it out in some back alley, because it's really literally a fight and metaphorically a fight about between being blind and seeing, right? Because it's like aliens are on a planet, but the only way you can see the aliens is if you have them the sunglasses, and Rowdy Roddy Piper wants Keith David to put the glasses on, and Keith David refuses to put the glasses on. He will not put the glasses on. And I think the other thing that I really love about it is it looks like a real fight. It looks like the way two big, out-of-shape guys would be slugging it out in an alley somewhere. It's not choreographed or slick. You know, it just looks like these guys would really be hurting each other.
All right, who's next?
You.
I'm next.
Yes.
All right, what do we think I picked?
All right, I actually think you picked Rocky versus Ivan Drago
Okay.
in Rocky IV.
You know, if he didn't pick that one, then it's probably the Raiders of the Lost Ark fight.
Rocky versus Ivan.
Yeah, which also has the best fight montage or training montage.
Yes. No.
Yes, it does.
Not compared to the
Rocky IV is
other ones.
amazing.
But there's
awful,
no
over the top training.
It doesn't even. Well, see, that's why I picked Rocky IV, because it is sort of awful and over the top, and it's the 1980s, and one of the major geopolitical things happening in the 1980s was the Cold War. So now, because the Cold War ended in such a peaceful manner, and about as peaceful manner as it can,
Not a bang, but a
with the whimper, yes. I think we look back at some of those 80s movies with a lot of silliness. We think it's a lot of fun to see that fact. And I just think it's hilarious that we had this 1985 brawl between Rocky and this guy from Russia. And people think lots of things brought down the Cold War. They have lots of reasons why, but we really know it was Rocky.
It was Rocky.
Rocky made all those Russians convert and become capitalists just by beating up on their own fighter, Ivan Drago,
I agree.
in Rocky
I agree.
IV.
In here, there were two guys killing each other. But I guess that's better than 20 million. That if I can change, and you can change,
Вы можете измениться.
everybody can change.
Каждый может измениться.
All right, well, I was wrong with villain when I said you picked Darth Vader, but I'm still sticking with the Star Wars theme, and you picked Return of the Jedi.
Well, of course, I had to put Star Wars in there somewhere. At the time, there was only that trilogy, so it was like the big moment.
Yeah.
After 3 movies, this was it. And the music that he used at that moment was just gorgeous, and they wouldn't even release it for a long time. You couldn't get the music. I snuck in a tape recorder to the movie theater so I could tape that music.
You scofflaw.
I know. When I was a kid,
George Lucas is
Don't arrest
coming
me.
after you now.
I know.
You hear the sirens?
But we were obsessed with it. But I just think that's the most iconic fight scene of that trilogy, and so I say of the decade.
We're going to reveal who the viewers thought
Uh-oh.
was the best fight scene of the 1980s.
It's gonna be mine.
Ooh, Wesley versus Inigo Montoya in The Princess
That's
Bride.
so standard. Who voted for that?
Oh,
That's a-
that's a great scene.
It's a great scene. It's an old-fashioned
It is.
sword fight.
I admit it, you are better than I am.
Then why are you smiling?
Because I know something you don't know.
And what is that?
I am not left-handed.
So I guess I am left to talk about the best kiss of the 80s.
Uh-oh.
All right, so the first one is Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson in The Breakfast Club.
Oh.
John Cusack and Ione Skye, The Kiss in the Rain, Say Anything. Andy kisses Mikey by accident in The Goonies. Corey Elwes and Robin Wright in The Princess Bride. Eric Stoltz and Mary Stuart Masterson in Some Kind of Wonderful.
Okay.
Han Solo, Princess Leia in Empire Strikes Back. Cher, Nicolas Cage in Moonstruck.
Snap out of it.
Right. Crispin Glover and Leah Thompson in Back to the Future. Richard Gere and Deborah Winger in An Officer and a Gentleman.
That's a good one.
What do we think Leah picked?
Ooh.
What do we think Leah picked?
Especially since Leah is a cold-hearted.
You are
Yeah.
cold-hearted, so it's got to be something jokey. I'm going to say Sharon, Nick Cage, and Moonstruck.
That's a great kiss.
I'll say anything.
You will say anything, won't you, Sean?
Say anything.
Oh, I picked Say Anything.
Ah!
I think at the time that I saw Say Anything in the theater, I think I probably had a big giant crush on John Cusack. So it was so fabulous. I mean, it was a real kiss. It was in the rain, and they just really seemed to be in love. It just was infused with so much love and passion for each other. I have the Grinch's heart, right? And it was that one little kernel, and it grew, and it grew, and it grew.
No.
And so that kiss does it for me.
I gave her my heart, and she gave me a pin.
I think that we should focus on Sean next.
Yeah. I think he chose Carrie Elwes and Robin Wright in The Princess Bride.
I'm going to say it's the Crispin Glover, Leah Thompson kiss in Back to the Future.
Ooh, yes. It's The Princess Bride. Well, I just leave it to the words of Peter Falk at the end of the movie. They've gone off on 4 white horses. Inigo Montoya, Manny Patinkin is now the new Dread Pirate Roberts, or we think he'll be the new Dread Pirate
Right.
Roberts. And Peter Falk says to Fred Savage,
Since the invention of the kiss, there have been 5 kisses that were rated the most passionate, the most pure. This one left them all behind.
and Fred Savage, who at first didn't want to hear a kissing book, he doesn't mind so much.
Oh.
So I got to pick The Princess
All
Bride.
right, all right.
Oh, that is so sweet of you.
I know.
Oh man. Okay. Well, that was an interesting one. Okay,
All
so
right.
that means that Princess Bride is gone and Say Anything is gone.
You know, okay, so you guessed she said Moonstruck, so it can't be Moonstruck.
Oh, we're
You
cheating
already-
with the process of elimination.
You already chose the Star Wars one. All right, I'm going to say you picked The Goonies.
I'm gonna say you picked The Breakfast Club.
Well, my choice is one of my favorite John Hughes movies would be Eric Stoltz and Mary Stuart Masterson in Some Kind of Wonderful. I like it because, Watts has, feelings for Eric Stoltz's character, and she gets to kiss him by playing with the, I don't know if you're going to be able to kiss Leah Thompson, so, you might want to practice. And he's like, well, how would I do that? And she's like, I don't know, I could just pretend that I'm her. It's so adorable. And then you can see the connection between them when they finally kiss. And then it has some great dialogue. She's like, lesson's over, you're cool, and walks away real fast. I love it.
Why don't
I
you see
reveal?
if if our viewers agree with me?
All right.
They agreed with none of us.
Of course not.
Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson in The Breakfast Club.
Oh, see, that's
Did we pick anything? Did we win?
We lost every time.
I don't
Man,
Okay, so our viewers felt that the best villain from the 1980s, which is pretty hard to dispute, was Darth Vader.
The viewers thought the best fight scene was Wesley versus Inigo Montoya in The Princess Bride.
and our viewers chose Best Kiss as Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson in The Breakfast Club.
Cheers!
Cheers.
Here's to the 80s.
To shoulder pads.
80s. Get to the chopper!
And as Arnold says, you're one ugly mother.